Welcome to YouTube channel by Proton Indonesia. Before listen and watch this presentation, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. This good time, I will present and describe about benefit and enzyme contribution for growing and increasing your animal production, like chicken, cattle, swine, fish, and shrimp, related to feed technology. Enzyme is familiar to hear, even we have ever been learning it when we were studying in junior or senior high school. And then we learn at university like doctor, medical, information, food technology, animal science, veterinary, fishery, food technology, or technology of industry. But this segment, I will describe enzyme commonly so that we may introduce deeply. Specific describe and technique will be elaborated and presented in the next segment. In current presentation contain two subsegments. The first, we will introduce the enzyme concept. We will talk about enzyme histories, definition, mechanism, why we need kind of enzyme, also structure and characteristics of enzyme. The second, we will describe benefits of additional enzyme into animal feed generally. We will talk about some factors which have affected background and reason, also enzyme solution. So, how enzyme could be formed, discovered, and developed? Firstly, enzyme have been formed by Payne. He had found the states as the first enzyme, carried on by Louis Pasteur when studying in fermentation of sugar to alcohol by yeast. Fermentation was caused by vital force. Then Wilhelm Kuhn first used the term of enzyme, which comes from Greek. It means in yeast or in leavening. Edward Buchner, he found sugar was fermented by yeast extract. He named the enzyme that brought about the fermentation of sucrose zymes. Following Buchner's example, enzymes were usually named according to the reaction they carry out. The suffix "-ase" is combined with the name of substrate, e.g. lactase is the enzyme that cleaves lactose. Some have shown that the enzyme race was a pure protein and crystallized it. The conclusion that pure proteins can be enzyme was definitely demonstrated by Northrop and Stanley, who worked on a digestive enzyme pepsin, trypsin, and chymotrypsin. What is enzyme? Enzymes comes from Greek and in enzyme. It means in yeast or leavening. But scientific definition is biological catalyst which could accelerate chemical reaction rate without follow or a chain reaction. There are two concepts of enzyme mechanism. The first, lock and key by Emil Fischer. and second, Induced Fit by Daniel Korsland. Okay, we can see the figure. Basically, this concept are almost same. The difference is on enzyme active site. In organic concept between active site and substrate are commonly matching and fitting for each other. Otherwise, in induced fit concept, active site and substrate are not same, not match. Enzyme change shape slightly as the substrate binds. Then after form enzyme substrate complex, release the substrate become product, while the enzyme ready to reuse. Comprehensively, we can see some differentiation on this slide. Well, why we need enzyme? We will know on the next slide. Okay, the beginning, milk or food is chewing by mouth, which is secreting saliva. Saliva has contained thiolin or amylase, which has changed amylum become glucose. Then go down to stomach. There are pepsin and renin. Pepsin can break down protein become small peptides. Carry on to small intestine by enzyme support much more to break down some milk from stomach. Pancreas also produce enzyme to help intestine work also emulsifying the milk. Therefore, the milk can extracted and absorbed by intestine release and distributed the fresh blood to our whole body. From our description before, we can get some definition. Our enzyme can be breakdown through hydrolysis reaction. Some bigger molecules from meal, food or feed, which is entering into the body, become some smaller molecules to make easier to digest and to absorb by body. So we can see hydrolysis reaction by enzyme. Here we can see lipase can change triacylglycerol become glycerol and fatty acid. Okay, next slide. Based on source, enzymes are divided by two kinds of enzyme. The first, endogenous enzyme, which is produced by internal body, and two, exogenous enzyme, which is produced by the out of body. then entering into body through food or feed. We can see the figure below. Enzyme which produced by internal body through some organ in digestive tract. An organ which is more producing enzyme is small intestine. I won't describe this slide more and we can carry on the next slide. Enzyme which produced by internal body through some organ in digestive tract has limitation or deficiency as below. The first, limited production. Second, urgent will be work harder if food or feed which are entering have lower digestibility or contain anti-nutrition factor. Third, let it to point to needed more energy. Actually, energy should be used to grow and producing meat, egg, or milk to be least. Animal will be get slow growth, optimal year gaining or production down, and worse if we found urgent malfunction. Let's see a bit history of using the enzyme in industrial sector. Firstly, enzyme used in the food industry, for example, sugar or sweetener produce, bread, cheese, and beer, and then used in the garment or textile and detergent industries, and finally in animal feed industries. Regarding to genetical improvement in animal and livestock will be related with feed technology improvement. Let's see the figure about enzyme, market segmentation and movement year by year. This slide we will introduce four enzyme structures. Commonly, more of enzyme are contained by protein or apoenzyme. It has same character of protein. In case occurring the abnormality like temperature will be occur the naturation. Said protein enzyme is also contained by non-protein or haloenzyme, a part of anorganic ion or cofactor or organic ion or coenzyme. An organic component in enzyme is cofactor or activator, which is weakly attaching on enzyme protein. For example, in mineral group like zinc, manganese, copper, magnesium, ferrum, kalium, and natrium. Organic component is divided by two parts of prostatic group and coenzyme. Prostatic group is organic component which has strong attached by enzyme protein. But coenzyme is organic component which has weak attached by enzyme protein. For example, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide and vitamin B1, B2, B6, biotin, and niacin. This slide will describe for some enzyme characters. The first, thermolabile. Enzyme as protein is more affected by temperature. In case the temperature increase, enzyme will work fastly. But if so it high, enzyme will be denaturation. The second, biocatalysator. Enzyme as biocatalysator has function to change the rapidity of reaction with decreased activation energy way. The third, specified work. Enzyme work specifically. It means enzyme only work in specific substrate. The fourth, reusable. Enzyme can be used repeatedly during the enzyme is not damaged or denatured. The fifth, reversible reaction. Next circle is reversible working. It has get reaction without influence the final product and will be reformed and reaction result as enzyme. When it follows the reaction, enzyme structure may be changed chemically, but in final reaction, enzyme chemical structure will be back as it before. And 6. Needed in small quantity. Therefore, enzyme as catalysator needed in small quantity. One molecule of enzyme can be used oftenly or reusable. During the enzyme is not damaged. Although in small quantity it can be faster the reaction 1,000 times. Dear listener, we will enter into second subsegment in this presentation. Are there benefits or advantage for additional enzyme in animal feed? At the beginning of research in feed mill owners and farmers, of course, they have to look for many strategies in order to not just surviving, but how are making their business to be effective and efficient. And finally, they will get earn and more margin so that their business get grow. Raw materials user or farmer as feed consumers will be facing some dynamic circumstance point in the raw material condition, material quality, farming production parameters, performance indicators, and profit gaining. Those situations make us to more thinking look for many solutions which have effective and efficient in order to get as our expectation. We can see so many pain points here and of course so many factors which have affected. They are challenging and constraining. Raw materials quality's main problems which has fluctuatively has been affecting for feed quality. Farming performance target is must be obtained. Farming or culture condition, climate, even increasing cost production. So we can determine some influence factor to use additional enzyme. The first, endogenous enzymes are limited produce. Second, we cannot push urgent to produce enzyme. It is needed more energy and work harder. Third, raw materials quality. The fourth, we have some target, growing indicators and farming performance to get some profit. So the last, reduce some pollutant and waste or byproduct. Thus it above will be measured how amount of profit we get for feed mill producer and the farmers. As I remember that animal farming or fish culture have biggest cost component is feed costs. Feed management is key of success for our business, especially on feed and raw material selection. All farmers want high quality or feed raw material but cheaper price and of course affordable. Feed raw materials price always more and more increase, and moreover our majority of raw materials importation are affected by currency and shipping costs. As usual, high quality feed or raw materials have high digestibility, low fiber, efficient and low conversion index so that we can produce as target even more. Otherwise, if we choose feed quality is not optimal, sometimes taste and attracted for something cheaper price and get some promo, and we get a good feed with low digestibility will be resulted more waste, swelling, FCR, and finally overfeed costs occurring and get loose. Enzyme is one of feed additive needed in smaller amount but necessary. It can influence final result and add something value or product differentiation and may improve animal production. Maybe in the past time not necessary because raw materials still cheap price with good quality, but the era has been changing when raw materials are expensive with fluctuative quality and quantity. Sometimes it's more and more decreasing because availability, production costs, and shipping costs. For example, palm kernel oil. In the past time, it has never been using as raw materials, but now feed millers have been using as alternative of energy sources, replace or instead of CPO, corn, and rice bran. Those situations above have encouraged enzyme usage or application as feed technology development, with aim to reduce formulation costs without more effective for feed quality by itself. So we have solution to overcome of 3 points of our concerning is additional enzyme into our feed, and kind of enzyme specification will be presenting on the next segmentation. So we have get conclusion. The first, enzymes are needed for human, animal, fish to help and accelerate for growing and developing. The second, enzymes are produced on our body but on limited availability. The third, to optimize and efficient our production are needed additional enzyme to complete their requirement. The fourth, enzyme is one of feed additive which have function to increase digestibility, reduce ENF from raw materials to make easier to absorb within. And the last, enzyme have to increase feed and livestock efficiency, performance gaining and get some profits. Thanks for your watching and attention. See you next time.